Hey crafty friends, this tutorial is going to be on etching glass with Armour etching cream and a vinyl stencil made on the Cricut cutting machine. The three projects that I etched glass with are this oversized mason jar with our last name on it, this pyrex cup in the middle, which is what I'm going to show today in the tutorial, and lastly this green glass that I put Michigan State on. It didn't show up as dark as I wanted to, but I still like it. It's cute. So for this one today, I'm going to show you how I updated my old Pyrex measuring cup. The grid lines had long disappeared and it was terrible, and I was squinting in the light and they sort of showed up that way, but I finally got frustrated and I already had Armour etch on hand. This stuff lasts forever. I had the etching cream on hand from doing some drinking glasses and wine glasses. The etching shows up really well on those. I probably should have kept one around for myself instead of giving them away to have an example, but you'll have to trust me. And then the other item that I used was the removable vinyl that I already had on hand. So this project was pretty free. It only cost me some time. For this project, I created an SVG file that you can download right off my website. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to find that in case you're not familiar with downloading SVGs for use on Cricut Design Space. To get access to the resource library on bartoncraftbarn.com, you just need to subscribe to the website using the form. This will automatically send you an email with the link to the free resource library along with the password. So you follow that link and you will be prompted to put the password in, and here is the file for the 2-cup measurement lines, and you're just going to save that on your computer wherever you can find it again. I just put it in my downloads folder. You'll then open Cricut Design Space and upload the image. You'll browse the computer, and I put it in my downloads folder again, so I find my file and open it. The file will be brought up. You can rename it for your purposes if you want, and you can write a description if that helps you to search for it and find it later. Take those numbers off if you need to, and then you will just save the file. And once the file is saved, it is selected and inserted into a new project. Sometimes it takes a minute to save here. So you just select it by clicking on it and then insert it, and it'll come up. So when it comes up, you'll most likely need to resize it to fit your measuring cup. The dimensions I used are on the tutorial. The width was 4.325 and the height was 2.89. You'll have to measure your particular measuring cup to see how far the distance from the 2-cup line to the 1/4 cup line, and just make sure those dimensions make sense for your cup. I would recommend printing it before I cut it on paper and just putting the paper inside and make sure it lines up with your current measuring cup lines. After you confirm the dimensions are correct and you send it to your Cricut by selecting Make, you will then select your material setting. I used vinyl. I cut this on removable vinyl because it's what I had on hand. And you will cut it, and then you will reverse weed it, which means you will remove all of the pieces of the design that you want etched. So you will leave the background on there. And you can see in this green vinyl, this is reverse weeded because all of the numbers and lines are pulled off. I weeded those out. Then you put some transfer paper on it. I like to use the gridded transfer paper. It helps me to apply the vinyl onto the cup later on. And the probably most challenging part of this project is putting it on the measuring cup correctly, because it's a cylindrical surface and it's just very hard to get the measuring lines to all be parallel to each other and the liquid that you're pouring in as you're measuring. So it just takes some careful placement at this point, and this was probably the most difficult step that I did have to repeat once. To transfer the vinyl to the glass, you're just going to remove the backing of the vinyl and take your transfer tape and vinyl that is connected and line it up the best you can and place it on your glass. So now after you have the proper protections, like covering your surface, your clothes, your eyes, and wearing gloves, you are ready to etch your glass. So I taped around the vinyl with some protective painter's tape here, and then you can see I just brush a thin layer of the etching cream over the blank spots, the reverse weeded spots in our vinyl. And you'll do this for about 5 minutes, and you'll see that it will want to chunk up a little bit after time, and you just brush that away and just keep on brushing. Make sure all of your little crevices and surfaces get the etching cream in it, and you'll just want to keep on doing this for the full 5 minutes. You can do it for longer. I probably wouldn't do it for any less, but after this is done, you just rinse it off and scrub all of the etching cream really well before you expose any of the other glass that you don't want etched, and you're good to go. You just take off the vinyl and you are done with your etching glass project. So here's the final picture of my project, and it's the updated measuring lines. I just put a piece of paper in there so you can see the contrast a little bit better, but I assure you it works very well when I'm cooking in the kitchen. So thanks for visiting, and you can see what is going on at Barton Craft and Barn on the website. We have Cricut tutorials similar to this one, and you can find the free SVG file for the 2-cup measuring lines on there, along with some other tutorials here. And you can also learn about our hobby farm that we maintain in upstate of South Carolina.